The sun is out. It's time to bake. Let's put a little pucker in the old kisser. So today we're going to make some lemon zucchini bread. And I've got all my ingredients ready. I did go ahead and grease my pans, and now I'm going to flour them. And because I'm using my sun oven and I'm using these stoneware pans, I am going to put them in the sun oven to warm up. It is increasing the temperature as the sun hits it. And you can see they are in there, and we are at about 300 degrees. It's a great sunny day. So I went ahead and I shredded up a nice size yellow zucchini. It was about yay big, and I did not peel it. I washed it, and then I went ahead and grated it. Now, I am going to put this on here, and I'm just going to get a paper towel and push some of the liquid. Let's see, how am I going to do this? Get this liquid out, and I'm just going to push this down in here to remove some of the liquid, so we don't want this completely sopping wet. I'm just using a paper towel with my hand. And then I'm just going to set this aside so this can drain down into here, and my zucchini's up here. All right. I have 2 cups. Yes, it's 2 cups, but we are making 2 loaves. This is raw granulated sugar. So 2 cups of sugar into a medium-sized bowl, and I went ahead and zested 2 to 3 very nice big size lemon. And so I want about 4 tablespoons or whatever you have of the lemon zest. And then don't throw those lemons out, because you're going to want to squeeze the juice out of those, because we will be using that for the glaze. And we're just going to get this mixed up with our hands and just get it all incorporated in there. You want that lemon throughout the sugar. Just mush it up in there. Kind of like wet sand, really. That's all we're doing. Just getting it squeezed in there nice and well. We're going to be using 4 large eggs in this recipe. And I will be using coconut oil. For my recipe, you could use vegetable oil. I do not use vegetable oil, so I will be using coconut oil. And to me, I don't notice a flavor difference when I do use something like that. And because I'm not going to dirty too many dishes, I'm just going to use that lemon zest bowl that I had and just add my eggs to that. Put them in with my sugar and lemon zest. And then we will add our oil to that. You're going to need a hand mixer for this. And we will be using a whisk for the dry ingredients when we get that far. Look at these beautiful eggs, fresh from the chickens. Now I do have a half of a cup. No, this is 1 cup. So this is 2 loaf pans. If you wanted to just make 1, you want to divide the ingredients in half. So just cut the recipe in half. So 1 cup of coconut oil, and it is not melted, but it is soft because it's warm. We're going to get this mixed up as soon as I get my beater back in here. And we're just going to do it till it's light and fluffy, about 2 minutes. Until it's light and fluffy. Next, we're going to add in 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Now, my vanilla is slightly, it's stronger. It is, you want to use half the amount, so I only used a smaller amount. Get that mixed up. When it's light and fluffy, we're just going to set this aside. We're going to grab a large bowl, and we have 4 cups of flour that we're going to add to our large bowl. We're going to add 4 teaspoons of, make sure this is teaspoons of baking powder. We're going to add that to our flour, and I've got a half of a teaspoon of salt. And we're just going to add that in and get that nice and whisked up. You want this all mixed up so there's not any one ingredient in one place. Get it all combined. We will be using some sour cream in this recipe also. Get that nice and whisked. Well, I messed up. So I got myself out a big bowl. For your flour, you want your flour in a medium-sized bowl and your wet eggs and sugar in a large bowl. So we're going to continue this recipe on with our whisked flour. We're going to put our wet ingredients into this bowl, and then we will add half of our flour. So you understand where I'm going with this, right? I'm sure you do. Just got to read the directions a little better. And I'm guilty of that because I'm human. All right, so we're going to add half of our flour to the egg mixture, and we're going to mix that up with the mixer. So we only want about half, and it might get a little hard to blend. So let's get this in. With half of our flour mixed into the wet ingredients, we are going to take 2/3 of a cup of sour cream. Now you could use regular, original, just no flavor of Greek yogurt if you wanted. Instead, you do you. So we got the 2/3 of a cup of sour cream. Now we're going to add the rest of our flour ingredients and get this all mixed up. It's going to be a little bit harder. And with this being thicker, you want to do it so that your mixer doesn't overwork itself. After we've got our mixture mixed, we're going to take our zucchini and we're just going to fold this in. So I'm going to gently fold it in. You don't want to over mix this. I'm doing a little bit at a time. When I was younger and I would make something, I would just put it all in there. I didn't know what folded in means because I never took the time to look through my recipe book to know what I was really doing. So we're just going to fold it in. So certain things you need to know when you're making a recipe in order for it to turn out correctly. I once made some chocolate chip cookies and the recipe called for 2 1/4 cups of flour. I read it as 2 4 cups of flour. So needless to say, my cookies came out rather liquidy, but you know, that's life. We do things and we learn. So now I'm going to go get my pans out of the sun oven that are heated up, and we're going to get this put in it. Ooh, these pans are hot. All right, I'm going to get half of this mixture into one of them. And I'm just going to eyeball it. And you can see the flour and the oil has melted in my baking dish, the baking pan. That should be about right, and this way I can do a little better eyeballing. Using the sun oven is a great way to be able to cook if there was a power outage, and of course you need the sun. It's also wonderful for when you have high temperature days. Today we are in the high 80s, so it is definitely not a day that I want to bake in the oven, even though I have in the past. It's just a nice way to use the energy of the sun. The sun is so beneficial to us. Okay, now I have to remind myself that these pans are hot and to wear mitts before I put them back in the sun oven. And let's get them in there. As I'm just putting this, flattening this in my pan before I put them in the sun oven, I'm thinking how I use a yellow squash, which to me is same as zucchini. And what's nice about it is, if you have kids or grandkids, you can just tell them this is sweetbread. They're not going to see any green thinking, oh my god, there's a vegetable. So, just something I thought of. Okay, we've got them in there. And we're about 270, somewhere around there. It doesn't matter, they will cook. So, we're going to let this sit for a while. I will have to move this way as the sun comes up. And we will adjust the height as needed. You can see the little indicator down here. The sun is about in the middle of that circle down there. I should probably bring the setting back here up or down, whatever makes it level. All right, one button up. And now the circle of the sun right in there. It's not perfect, but it works. Well, the bread is looking lovely. It is not done yet, and we're at about 260, something like that. So it'll keep baking. It's doing just fine. And you will have to move your sun oven to make sure it is in the proper position as the sun rises. All right, so I filmed this incorrectly, and I just want to show you. This is the lemon glaze, and all this is about 1.5 cups of powdered sugar. And I made sure my sugar was declumped. You can put it in your coffee grinder to declump it, or you can put it in a little strainer and just keep straining it through. Then, so I've got about 1.5 cups of powdered sugar, and I added 3 tablespoons of the lemon juice from the lemon that we zested. And then you just mix it up. I'm going to put this in the fridge. We're close to 300, but not quite. But look at that. You can smell the lemon. Let's give it a poke. See if it comes out clean. And we've got us a ways to go. So we're going to give this a little bit more time. And what's nice about this, we can't really burn anything in here. So I could set this in here a good long while. It has been about 3 hours, around 2-3 hours. So just know that that is, normal for using a sun oven. You can see it's starting to brown a little bit around the edges there. And one seems to be baking a little better than the other, but we'll give it some more time. All right, I just took them out of the sun oven. You can see they're not level because the leveling tray was not level, and I don't care, but they are completely done. So toothpick inserted, came out clean. We're gonna let this cool a little bit, and then we'll put that glaze on. Our bread is nice and cooled, and my frosting is cold. So we're just gonna get that stirred around a little bit and get this cover. It's not frosting, it's a glaze. Sure, I know what I'm talking about. Now, I could take this out of the pan and I could put the glaze on the sides, which I might do. I have a feeling I'll have plenty of it. So I'll kind of like frost it like a cake and then put it in a nice container that it will fit in. So it's looking lovely. So I had some luck with my sun oven today. The skies were nice and sunny, and you can cook in it, but you want to cook early enough in the day. Now, let's look at my recipe here, because if you were making this in a regular oven, you'd want this to be at 350 in a 9x5 loaf pan, and you would bake it for, I think it's 50 minutes, 50 to 55 minutes, or until a toothpick inserted comes out clean. So that's what you do in a regular oven. And if you want to cook it maybe in your covered gas grill, that would work also. Let's get a taste of this. All right, I cut into it, and I'm bringing it out, and look at that lemony goodness. Let's have a taste test. Very moist, I just love the lemony. Very moist and tasty and tender. You can't tell there's zucchini in here whatsoever. Or yellow squash, whatever you want to call it. OMG. If you got a boatload of zucchini, cook up some lemon glazed zucchini bread. Fool everybody. Tell them it's just sweet bread. Especially the kids. They'll love it. And the bottom came out perfect. I'm very happy with this recipe. I hope you give it a try. Heavenly. Thanks for watching.